I don't know where I belong. I got no place to call my home. All the people all around me just can't see the things that I can see. I'll find a friend, someone who'll help me understand that life won't always be this bad, and there's no reason to be sad because I'm free.
2, 3, 4.
What the fuck? Just my bloody luck. I'm drowning in a sea of fools, tortured by their stupid rules. I don't mind, I'll leave all that behind. I'll quit my job and quit my school and do just what I wanna do. I'm free. Yes, I'm free. Everywhere, people point and stare. A happy freak, they think it sucks. I don't fit inside their box. No 9 to 5, I just live my life. Forever playing with my toys, not like other girls and boys. Girls and boys, not like other girls and boys. Girls and boys. 'Cause I'm free, yeah, I'm free. Exactly where I wanna be, yeah, I'm free. So please don't bother me. I wish I could find the words to let you know that it's okay. You don't belong inside the herd. Forever children, we will play. We will play. Forever children, we will play. We will play.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Everyday Magic.
Good evening, gorgeous beings. How are you all today?
Happy Father's Day for all you folks out there.
Yes, yes.
How are you doing, Luna? How are you doing, Heather?
Doing well.
I am doing great. I think we need to reintroduce Luna because last week I don't think we really got to get
Reintroduce
to who she was.
Go right ahead, Heather.
We have a new co-host, Miss Luna, and she's incredible and we love her, and she's an amazing artist, and so I would love to hear a little bit about her because I feel like last week we she kind of got skipped over last week, and I want people to know who she is because she's incredible and we love her.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's fun, and I love you guys too. I'm not really good at introducing myself. I wasn't prepared for that, so.
Neither was I, to be fair.
Yeah.
I just thought about it just a second ago. I was like, wait, we don't really,
but
she didn't
I
give us
think
her
you
stuff.
did way better than I could have done, so thank you.
Well, you're an artist, right? You do wood burnings and you do herbal magic and all the
herbal
good
medicine and all this good stuff. Yeah, I bend spoons into rings and all this stuff. So I actually am hoping. I made this a couple years ago. It's freehand. It's my husband now. I didn't know he was gonna be my husband, but I did a little magic and put his name on the back, and I was like, carried him with me for a really long time, and now we're married. So,
See?
yeah.
How
yeah.
cool is that?
Yeah.
We got a good show tonight. We got a cool show tonight, though.
I know. I'm so excited.
I'm looking forward to it. I know you've been all smiles ever since backstage.
Because there's so much that falls under this, this title, paranormal. It's spirits and ghosts and then you have the extraterrestrial side of it.
Yeah.
And the Bigfoot side of it.
And the Bigfoot side of it, the Sasquatch side of it, and yeah.
I've been fascinated with the whole paranormal side of things for a very, very long time. So I really get excited myself when I get these guests on the here. They've actually gone out there and done some investigations and has a bit of history that they can talk about. So without further ado, shall we bring on our guest?
I would love to.
Everybody, please welcome Christina from Get Haunted and East Coast Paranormal. Christina, welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys?
Hey.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys doing this lovely evening?
I cannot complain, to be fair. It's been a good weekend.
Hi, Dave. Excuse me, guys. I'm all getting over a little bit of a cold here, so.
Hello, David. Good to see you. Christina, the Suburban Explorer. Just kidding. Love you, Chica.
The Suburban Explorer.
This is what you was talking about the other day. Anyway, we'll introduce yourself really quick. Tell everybody what you do, and then we'll get to some chatting here.
Oh, wow. So I'm Christina. I have my team East Coast Paranormal. We've been together as East Coast Paranormal for about a year now, but we've all been together previously on another team before that for over another year and a half. So we've been doing this for almost 3 years. Over the past few months, my buddy Rob started a company called Get Haunted. So I work for them now as well. We do public paranormal events, and it's kind of crazy because I've done public events before with other companies, and it's just like overcrowded. They treat you like you're a newbie, and it's just like very tiring. So working for Get Haunted has been so amazing. Every time we have our groups, it's like you're there investigating with your own team, it just feels like a very family, atmosphere. Don't tell my team, but I almost like it more. No, I'm just playing, but no, really. We have a lot of seasoned investigators that come investigate with us as well. It's not just like people who are trying to dabble in, stick their toe in the paranormal field. So I've been doing that. Also, Get Haunted does, merch. They do all this other stuff. It's the point of Get Haunted originally, before it was even a public event company, was to bring, all right, so everyone, no one likes this word. I don't like this word. No one likes this word. Para-unity, right? So it's very questionable. But with Get Haunted, the whole goal was to bring people from all different teams, all different walks of the paranormal, and bring them together, helping each other out, supporting each other. If you need merch made, if you need logos made, if you need this, that, whatever, drop on down over to the Get Haunted Facebook page. You'll find someone that will help you out, So the big thing about Get Haunted is just everyone working together, helping each other out. And it's kind of amazing seeing it all coming together. And I also do a podcast with the lovely David Childers that's been commenting, and Chris Sanders on the It's Haunted network page. I know it's a little confusing. Get Haunted, It's Haunted.
There's just a lot of hauntings going on.
Oh, yeah. What about Ghost? What, Dave? So I love those guys. We were just in Salem last weekend. We had a blast. So, yeah, I have a lot of stuff going on. Some stuff behind the scenes I can't really mention yet, but yeah, it's been busy. I'll tell you that. It's been very, very busy.
I've noticed. I know you keep yourself busy. Let's explore a little bit about Christina. Let's get a little bit of history about Christina. What was there something? What was that something that made you decide that you wanted to get into the paranormal investigating or exploring, as you call it, as you guys are doing now, right? So
the Suburban Explorer, don't take that seriously. It's a joke.
Well, no, I take everything serious.
No, we were at we have a friend that took us out in the middle of the woods last Sunday in Massachusetts. I live in Jersey. I was out in Massachusetts. And Chris Sanders is Chris the paranormal explorer, right? So we're all walking up this freaking mountain and I'm like and I was like, I am Christina the suburban explorer and I hate hiking. I am not
So what was it exactly was you guys looking for out in the
So
middle
we
of the
went
woods?
out to a place called Lynn Woods, and there's a place called Dungeon Rock, um, and it's I don't know the exact story, but it was this guy that heard that there was a pirate out there that buried treasure, right? So supposedly this man for 30 years dug, and you could see there's like this structure, this rock structure that there's like a giant cave in it now, and he actually dug for 30 years looking for this pirate treasure, and he had a psychic medium that would tell they would do seances there, and she would tell him which in which direction to dig. So when you look in the cave, I unfortunately was not able to get in said cave, but that's another story off camera. But so yeah. So, anyways, it's like this and that, and like so you can tell like she was like dig this way, dig that way, right? So he had passed away after 30 years of looking, and his son actually had followed in his footsteps for quite some time. So then I think his son or someone's supposed to be buried there as well.
That sounds like a whole lot of fun.
So, but yes, so I got into the paranormal as a very young child. I grew up watching. I don't have. I'm warning you. I do not have some awesome. I grew up in a haunted house story. Oh yeah, if you go on Dave's TikTok, it's actually hilarious. It's like Dave, Childers Paranormal Addict or something, but it's actually quite funny. He's got some videos on there, and he has a video. Part of the video is me climbing. There was also like this cool tower there, so he's got me climbing down the tower, and I get down to the bottom, and he goes, "How was that walk?" And I go, "100% do not recommend." Um, but anyways, I got into the paranormal as a kid, watching Ghost Hunters and all those shows with my dad. I absolutely loved it. I grew up on horror movies. I was 6 years old watching Hellraiser, and like the Pumpkinhead and Pet Cemetery and all the zombie Romero movies. I grew up very young watching all of these. So, in Halloween season, me and my dad would go to all haunted houses, and every October we would go to Salem, Massachusetts, and do their tours. And one of my favorite tours I did out there was with the Paranormal Society. My dad bought me like my very first K2 meter, and it was, I'd go around Salem and kind of do stuff. Then growing up, I never got first of all, when I was younger, even in my teenager years, I'm 35 now, so even when my 20s, a lot of these places you couldn't get to. You couldn't get in. They weren't offering to pay to your team to go investigate there. That wasn't an option for a very long time, And by the time they started doing that, and I started noticing a lot of places doing that, I was like, I'm too old and tired, and I can't stay up till 5 a.m. anymore, and then eventually, right before quarantine kind of kicked in and everything, I was like, you know what, screw this. I'm like, I'm gonna do it, So I actually met my buddy Rich, who's my only team member that actually lives close to me. The rest of my team, we're based out of New Jersey. We have members in Pennsylvania. We have members. That's my mom. Hi, Mom.
Hello, Mom.
Hi.
She watches all my stuff. I love her. So she, anyways, so now that I'm distracted, we have people in New Jersey. I'm in New Jersey. I'm in North Jersey. I'm like 10 minutes from Manhattan. We have people in Pennsylvania. We have people in Maryland. My best friend Megan, even she's in South Carolina, but she comes up for our big events and investigates with us as well. So I don't know. I just met the right people. They were already partially formed team, and I had gotten on with them, and then we all left that team, started East Coast Paranormal, and here we are. It's been crazy. We've gotten to so many amazing locations. We've done the Conjuring House last October.
And you're telling me that you've got no stories. You've been to the Conjuring House and you got no story?
So yeah, it was kind of dead while we were there. From what I hear from Andrea Perrin from watching my buddy Rob did she interviewed him on her podcast on YouTube. He had been at 11 nights at the Conjuring House, not consecutive, but he had worked for another event company and had been working there a lot. And he had some absolutely crazy, like life changing things happen to him from being at the Conjuring House. And, Andrea was saying that that house kind of needs to get to know you. She
Kind of got to
said,
warm up to you a little bit.
yeah, and she also said, Andrea, she grew up in that house. She also said that it tends to affect men more than women. So I personally didn't really have anything happen there, but the place is really cool. Corey and Jen were awesome. They don't, they just sold the house actually. Um, it was cool. I definitely recommend it. Even if you go there and you don't catch anything, it's still like this iconic house in the field. So we do Penhurst. We'll be back at Penhurst July 3rd. That's kind of like our like home base almost. We spend a lot of time at Penhurst. That place is one of my favorite location, Penhurst, and it's not always active. Not every time you go there, but it bites when it does. I'll tell you that. It's a whole story with that one. Yeah.
I'm sure. I'm sure the ladies are probably wondering this as well. Luna and Heather both. And did you have any kind of like paranormal experiences as a child, or have you ever noticed that you have any gifts like mediumship or things of that nature?
No, I'm actually really boring.
I don't believe that for a second.
I find that hard to
My
believe too, Heather.
my family, a lot of people, my father, a lot of people in my family are very sensitive, and I keep saying I think it skipped a generation. The most I'll get if I walk into a very active place, I'll get like the vertigo, like immediately. But that's really it. I'm really not sensitive. I've corrected myself in the sense that I used to walk into these places covered with equipment, all every hand, all my pockets, everything, backpack, equipment, yeah. And you spend so much time with your head in the camera and setting up your equipment and looking at your equipment that you miss everything going on around you. So, over the past like 6 months or so, I'll grab my REM pod and recorder and walk in. Um, yeah, I know Dave and Chris and them have been to the Conjuring House as well. Um, so yeah, I try to travel light now. I bring my REM pod, I bring a recorder. I barely bring my camera at this point. Like, why do I do this? Um, for me, for myself, for my own experiences, it's something I've always wanted. I've always been so
Are you
interested.
trying to prove that there is life after death, or are you going in sort of like how the ghost hunters do, and they try to debunk?
Yeah, so I feel like we do so much debunking, so much. Because, all right, so I'm not a religious person. I refuse to believe in something that I cannot prove to myself is real. And when I go into these locations, I'm not like, ooh, that was paranormal. You know what I mean? Like, why would I believe in something that could be? It could be. Yes, Dave, absolutely. So why would I? We're hard. We are a tough crowd. Me and my team East Coast Paranormal, and Get Haunted, and then me and Dave and Chris, when we go do stuff, the number one thing we do is debunk. Until we can't explain it anymore. Um, like, a lot of these people you see out there are just like, it's like, no, no, the AC unit's on, and um so, but it's not. And so we're very skeptical. We believe 100%, and we have experienced 100%, but we are very hard to impress, which I think is
I
very
can
important.
dig that. I can dig that. I can appreciate that. I want a group of team of people to come into a place that's, let's say, the Conjuring House, and I want that group of team to be just almost skeptical about every single thing. I want them to question every single thing. I myself struggle with it at times. Sometimes, part of me wants to believe that there's stuff, life that goes on after death, and there's energy that's left behind, and then there's parts of me that's like, okay, what is reality here? What do I know for a fact? What do I know for a fact? I live and I
Yeah,
die.
yeah,
Everything else is kind of like questionable, right? You don't know what really is going to happen a lot if when you do pass away. Maybe that's just me, but maybe I just question everything. Maybe I spend too much time questioning everything.
yeah. Well, that's something everyone's kind of nervous about. What happens after you pass away, and what are these spirits? Are they actual deceased people? Are
How
they?
much of
Is
you
it
question
another?
yourself,
Is it another dimension that's leaking
another
through? Like,
dimension, or how
you
much
know,
of is it are
Well,
you telling yourself?
I think it's a combination of things. If you want to be honest, I think when you're going into a house where always I'm making this up, in one room 102, weird things happen or whatever. I think at that point that it's an imprint of energy, right? That something
that's
traumatic happened
that's the
there. Yeah,
residual
it's a
hauntings. Yeah.
residual and imprint. And then I think that there are, the other side of that too, as well as people who are stuck. Their energy is stuck on this, in this dimension for whatever reason, be it unsolved, whatever. But I mean, I see stuff all the time. My dogs see stuff. As soon as I start calling in my guides or any kind of energy work, my dog barks at a specific area. He barks behind my front door, like in the corner where some things are at. I see shadows out front of my house all the time, like out of the corner of my eye, and I'll look and no one will be there.
Maybe I'm just one of those type of guys that just don't. I feel like if I'm getting, maybe it's just me thinking if I'm in the other side, it would feel like torture to me because I'll be around all my loved ones that I won't be able to really do much interacting with. It's part of me just doesn't want that. Maybe I'd rather be there with them than be this spirit floating around them and wanting to be able to hold them, but knowing you can't. Best you could do is turn on a light switch or knock something over or make a toy play some music or something. Maybe I just part of me just doesn't want to believe that
Want
there
to
is.
do? Well,
And
I
it
mean,
would feel
yeah,
like it would feel like torture.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it might be better than your other options. I don't know. No one knows. That's the thing. Absolutely, no one
And I
knows.
think that's what the paranormal. I find it so fascinating because we really don't know, but yet, but we do, we don't. Right? It just depends on what you believe in.
Yeah.
I
No,
think
absolutely.
the best experiences are the ones that people don't tell you how to experience. Like, you don't go in a setting where somebody has said, now some weird things have happened, because your mind is going to create some weird things to happen. So
Hmm.
the best way to go, I feel, about the paranormal and stuff is to go somewhere where no one has ever said anything to you, given you an impression of what is going on, just to feel new places. And yeah,
Yeah. So we do have one empath on our team on East Coast Paranormal, and she's like that. She doesn't like to know before she goes in, but since I'm not sensitive, I like to know just so
You prepare yourself.
well, not just that, but like, I things that come through on the spirit box or the EVP or something that I might dismiss as nothing. If maybe it is. You know what I mean? Like, I can pick up on that a little better, but you always have to be, aware. Just like with visual matrixing, you can hear things that are looking for. So it's always something you have to be aware of. You have to be aware that your equipment, take it with a grain of salt. Use your equipment with yourself, with your own personal experiences. And that's what we do. We had I mean, the two most memorable things I've had happen to me was at Penhurst. I was in the Rockwell Tunnel, which is tunnels that run underneath the property, and they run to all the different buildings. And I had been down there for like a good hour with my friend Eric and his wife Patty, a few of my other team members, and we were getting little equipment hits here and there, nothing too impressive. And then my friend Rich came down with one of my team members, Sarah Lee, and they were sitting down with us for like a half hour. It was cold out, we had jackets on, and all of a sudden Rich goes, "Ow," and we're like, and he's sitting right in front of me, like right in front of me, and we're like, "What happened?" So he pulls his sleeve up, and on his arm, he had full top and bottom teeth print.
Ouch.
Like freaking a whole mouthful of teeth print. And the teeth were kind of like not right. Like they were either missing teeth or and it was small, like almost like a child. And the thing about Penhurst, and all of us were like, that's actually how we got one of our members, because my buddy Patrick, who's on my team, he works at Penhurst, and that's the first time we had met him. He was like one of the people that had to babysit us all night, and he was standing there with us like, so shortly after that, he stayed in touch and he ended up joining the team with us. But yeah, Rich, there's no way he could have bit himself. He was standing right in front of me. If you know anything about Penhurst, the patients there were very well known for biting, and one of the doctors, as punishment, used to yank their teeth out. Yeah, so that was that was number one absolute craziest shit that has ever happened to me while investigating. The second most disturbing thing I've had happen was back in January. I'm actually at the Shanley a lot. Get Haunted does a lot of events at the Shanley Hotel in Napanoch, New York. Kelly, the owner, amazing. Stephanie, who helps run it, amazing. If you guys ever have a chance to go to the Shanley, absolutely do it. That place, and I hate when people say this, but that place really doesn't disappoint. Every time I've been there, that gives you something. I'm not saying ghost comes out and does a jig in front of you, but you always get something that you can go home with. But yeah, Dave was there for the first time not too long ago as well. We were investigating till like 4 a.m. We had a little stuff going on here and there, and I was sharing the room with my buddy Anthony, and there's 2 beds. He passed out. It's my friend Christina's son. He's our youngest member, and me and him had the room. So he fell asleep already. I came into the room and he was sleeping with the light off. I'm like, screw you, buddy. Turned the light off, got ready for bed. And I set up a camera facing the bathroom because the year before that we were there, something was walking around that bathroom the entire night. You heard footsteps and the door creaking. And actually woke my friend Megan up the year before. I was sitting there for like an hour listening to this, and she finally woke up and she's like, "Did you hear that?" And I'm like, "Yes, I've been listening to this for like 45 minutes." So I stayed in the same room. I set my camera up or whatever, and I remember waking up around 5 a.m. like an hour later, and my camera was dead, which is whatever. Those batteries don't last so long, so it's fine. And I went back to sleep. And the problem is I don't know, because I sleep very poorly there. I'm like very in and out of consciousness there. I do not sleep well. So I woke up and I couldn't move. I felt like the bed flex, and just like this pressure on me. And like I'm a side sleeper, so I was like this, and I'm like, and I went to scream for my friend Anthony, and nothing was coming out. Finally, I kind of just like, and like I was good, but my problem is like I don't know if I was awake or if I was asleep.
I had that same experience before.
I mean, they call it like sleep paralysis, but like I woke up. I put my hoodie on, I put my shoes on, I went down to the common area downstairs, and I sat there. This was at 6 a.m. I sat there till about 9 a.m. waiting for the rest of my team to wake up. And I was like, what the hell? I'm glad it happened though. Like it was crazy. That's what we're there for. It makes you a more seasoned investigator the more experiences you have like that. But it was very disturbing.
I had something similar to that happen to me when I was a teenager. In the house that I was living in, I stayed in the basement, and I knew I was getting up because I had to go pee, so I was getting up in the middle of the night to go use the restroom. But as I was trying to get up off the bed, I felt this heavy weight jump on top of me, and I felt the bed go down like there was something on top of me. As a matter of fact, I think I couldn't move my arms. I could look around, but of course the room was dark. And when I would try to speak, I couldn't speak. But as I was trying to roll off the bed, I would hear like these little voices coming out of the pillow. Like it was like, "Don't let him go. Don't let him go." And I'm like, "Yep, I'm done in this room." And I ran up the stairs, and my sister slept upstairs, and I hopped into bed with her. She got up in the middle of the night and goes, "What are you doing?" She calls me brother. Goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "I am sleeping up here next to you because whatever the hell is downstairs, I'm not sleeping with. That's not my bunkie. You're my bunkie." Yes, I've had experience like, and I don't know how much of it is like you said, sleep paralysis. So I kind of passed it off as like maybe this is not.
What is sleep paralysis?
I mean, it's like a medical condition.
I know it's a
deep,
medical
heavy
condition.
sleep.
I'm just saying, like, but
how do you differentiate? Like, how do you?
Right,
It felt real. It felt 100% like it genuinely felt real.
Yeah.
But when you hear people pass it off as sleep paralysis, I'm like, well, maybe that's just all it was. And maybe I was in a heavy sleep and I was dreaming, and none of this really never happened. But I did scare the shit out of me. Whatever it was, I'm gonna have to go sleep with my younger sister.
Yeah,
I go through that every couple of weeks. Well, let's say a few weeks, not a couple. And I have learned, because it started out happening maybe every couple of months, and the more aware of it that I became, the more often it would happen. And I was very afraid the first few times. And I was like, I can't keep this from happening. So a lot of my friends were saying it was like, what do you want to call it? Like somebody had bad feelings towards you and they were doing stuff to you in a spiritual sense or whatever. But I didn't. Yeah, I didn't feel that was really what was happening. But I realized the less afraid I was and remained calm, a lot more things were happening, coming through. And it's just symbols would come and pass, and then I could see people like a movie, like get a peek of something, and then it would pass, and then something else would come in, and then slowly my body would just kind of, wake up. But I couldn't talk, I couldn't move, I couldn't, call out for help or anything like that. I just had to learn to enjoy the experience. And I believe that it's scary for me at times because it's so real. Like you can come face to face with somebody and you're like, but I think it's the same thing with spirits and ghosts and things like that. They feed on that fear and they become stronger when you're scared. So if you just try to remain calm, if you have a better experience.
Yeah. And you know what's funny too, because I'm one of those investigators where I'm like, oh, where's the most scariest, darkest, most haunted spot in the location? All right, lock me in there and I'll see you in an hour. Like I'm not afraid of anything. And this definitely was disturbing. But I've been back to the Shanley twice since then. I'll be back again in September, I believe. We have a bunch of Get Haunted events there. So I love the Shanley. I still do. I'm not afraid of it there. I'm not really threatened by anything. It was just my first time experiencing anything like that. So
it's cool. It's jarring, but cool at the same time.
Yeah, that's what I was like. After I got over it in like a week, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Kind of great.
Let's take a brief break. We'll come back. We'll continue talking with Christina from Get Haunted East Coast Paranormal. We're going to be playing a video from our Inner Demon Hall of Fame Band of the Month. This is Forever May Fall, and this is their newest single. We'll be right back, everybody. You guys are watching Everyday Magic.
We're Forever May Fall, and you're watching Inner Demon Media.
You've been Playing the victims, what keeps you alive? Why are you the way you are? Where's your stage when it's so dark? Not my fault you fall apart when bad things come to ugly hearts. Bad things come to ugly hearts. Nobody wants to be like you. Fake issues, hope you crumble from all of that weight. I really hate the shit you do. Seems like you only suffer from feeling the same. Screaming words that aren't your own. Chasing roads to find a home. You can lie, you can try to deny who you are from the truth. Nobody wants to be like you. You've been chasing this high, addicted to people who tell you you're right. Now they're saying you're good. Secrets you keep have them drawing the line. Why are you the way you are? Where's your stage when it's so dark? Not my fault you fall apart. Bad things come to ugly hearts. Bad things come to ugly hearts. Nobody wants to be like you. Fake issues, hope you crumble from all of that weight. I really hate the shit you do. Seems like you only suffer from feeling the same. Screaming words that aren't your own. Chasing roads to find a home. You can lie, you can try to deny who you are from the truth. Nobody wants to be like you. There is nowhere left to turn. Your lesson was never learned. You're living to crash and burn. I hope it hurts, I hope it hurts. Nobody wants to be like you. Fake issues, hope you crumble from all of that weight. I really hate the shit you do. Seems like you only suffer from feeling the same. Screaming words that aren't your own. Chasing roads to find a home. You can lie, you can try to deny who you are from the truth. Nobody wants to be like you. Nobody wants to be like you. Nobody wants to be like you.
Welcome back, everybody. That was our Interdemon Hall of Fame band. That was Forever May Fall with their latest newest video. Hope you guys enjoyed that. So yeah, welcome back to Everyday Magic. We're sitting here with Christina from Get Haunted, East Coast Paranormal, and my co-hosts Luna and Heather and her family of pits.
Yeah, my little kitty over here.
Pitties. I love pitties. My fur child is sleeping under the bed as we speak.
He's very vocal anytime any energy work is going on or things like that. He has to make himself known.
I have a pet skunk.
Nice.
What?
I have a pet skunk.
What?
You haven't seen me post anything, Sid? I post stuff all the time.
I mean, to be fair, probably not.
No.
Is he descented?
Yes, he is.
But they still stink, though.
No.
They don't?
No.
I heard that you get them.
I didn't know you could descent skunk.
They remove their anal glands.
Yeah, I need mine removed.
That's what they spray with. But yeah, no, he's my furry.
That's
child.
a unique pet to have.
Charter doesn't bark, Dave. He makes this like squeaky wheel noise occasionally, but he's very quiet.
That's so cool.
He's really great. He's honestly, I've had dogs, rabbits, I have geckos, I've had ferrets, I've had so many. I've always been a big animal person. I was a vet tech for like 15 years. And Charger is by far my favorite freaking animal in the world. He's like he's so more conscious than a ferret. Like he's like very
ferret.
Yeah, I've had ferrets too, and that's what I thought he was gonna be like. And he's more like a cat or a dog, more like a cat.
I mean, don't they use a litter box?
Yeah, he uses pee pad. They do go in the corner like ferrets, but I stick pee pads in the corners and he uses them. And he sleeps with me at night. I have little pet stairs on my bed, and he climbs up in the middle of the night and snuggles with me. And
Oh,
yeah,
I love that.
That's
yeah,
super cool.
yeah. He's really awesome, and he's great because he sleeps like 22 hours a day at least. Like, and then so he's like gives you your space, but then he comes for love and cuddles and plays and goes back. Yes, Dave, he loves bubble wrap. Dave and his girlfriend Kate, when I saw them last weekend, gave me a offering of bubble wrap for Charger because he loves bubble wrap.
Well, that's cool. It's a cool pet to have, really. To
Yeah.
be fair. So let me ask you some. Let me ask you some pop questions.
Okay.
All right. So you've been to a lot of places to investigate, right?
Hmm.
And of the most legendary ones that you've been to, some of the ones there's a lot of hype that's built up. Name one of the ones that you've went to and it was a complete dud. There's a lot of hype built up about it, but when you get there, it was just a complete dud.
All right. So if you're an investigator, like I said with Penhurst, sometimes you get nothing, and sometimes people get bit. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't want to call, and I know because my friend Rob had crazy experiences at the Conjuring House and this and that, but I mean, the Conjuring House would have to be, I guess, what I would say, just because it was the most iconic location that I've been to, and we didn't get anything, but that doesn't mean
Doesn't
like I
mean there's nothing
know
there. I
there's
totally
something
get
there.
that. I totally get that. But you're excited. You're going. You're getting ready to go to this. Let's say the Conjuring House, and you got all this anticipation, but because you heard all the legend and lore, then when you get there, you're like, well, poop.
Yeah, no, definitely that was how. I mean, for me, the Conjuring House is only like 3.5 hours, but most of my team, all my friends on my team are South Jersey, Pennsylvania, so they drove like 5 or 6 hours to get there. And everyone I booked that a year in advance and everything, and we were all hyped up and this and that, and we were there, and we're like literally by midnight. I've actually got pictures of a bunch of the guys in the team passed out in the beanbag chairs and stuff upstairs. They fell asleep. I fell asleep spooning with my friend Michelle on one of the beds. My friend Christina fell asleep on the couch. I also fell asleep in the library. So I don't know if we were just bored or if like that house was just draining us because we don't usually do that, but it was kind of funny actually. We all passed out at the Conjuring House, like, and strange, one of the most terrifying haunted places in the United States, and we're like,
Fair. I mean, when you go into investigations, 80% of the time when you go, you don't see anything.
No, you don't. Most of the time, you don't. And you know what? All those shows, even the ones that are legit, the few, they're there. You don't realize they're filming there for like a week.
Right, they don't just go in and all this activity happens and like it looks like in the show, right? Where look over one night we got all this stuff. Okay, peace out. We're out of here.
Yeah. No, I mean, honestly, if you want to experience something crazy, definitely come to one of our Get Haunted events. My buddy Rob, he's the owner of Get Haunted. He has this crazy gift with EVPs. He uses a DR60, which I know is very taboo in the paranormal world, but he's trained me and taught me in the sense that you can't listen for these, like the DR60 is old and it makes these crackly noises, and that's like a normal defect, but you have to listen below that. So we've gotten the most crazy EVPs with the time I've been working with him. We were at Mid Orange Correctional Facility. With my team had gotten the place, so they came with us, and Rob used to work there a lot, so I was like, "Can you tell me what you think about my friend Rob?" And we played it back, and you hear he's a dick. Yeah, we had he was not happy with me about that. We were at another amazing, very not well known location because they don't really do a lot of paranormal stuff there. But Cashtown Inn, out right outside Gettysburg, um, we were doing EVPs out. I got touched there. Rob got touched there. Rob almost peed himself. He jumped so high. It was really funny. He scared the crap out of us. I was like, "Oh, it's my mom's birthday today. Can you wish her a happy birthday?" We played it back and you're happy birthday. And then I was like, "Can you tell me your favorite um type of alcohol?" And you hear whiskey bourbon. And like it's not like that
Me
crackly
too.
60
It's
noise.
like a gold on a treasure hunt, right? And you're searching for gold, and then you find that one sweet spot where there's a bed of gold there, right? So when you go into investigation and you catch these playbacks with voice recorders, it's just those little moments like that that keeps people driven and still want to keep doing what they're doing, right?
It
Oh,
keeps us watching too.
oh, it's crazy. It's crazy. I joke around and people are like, Christina, what's your favorite piece of equipment? And I'm like, my favorite piece of equipment is Rob Stackowicz. Um, because we always get crazy, absolutely crazy EVPs every time. And, he makes a good point. He's like, you could probably walk out to your local McDonald's and do an EVP session and get something. Because I feel like there's probably spirits roaming everywhere. You know what I mean? Like they're probably not, a lot of them aren't probably not designated to a specific location. Maybe ones that have personal attachment to them, this and that, whatever. But like what was that McDonald's before it was a McDonald's like 100 years ago, you know? So there's just places I feel like, you can probably get results in a lot of places that you wouldn't think you were able to,
That's an interesting thing you just brought up there. I don't know about you ladies, but what caught me was she said that there was the afterlife is really crowded. So like it's just nothing but spiritual world. So differentiates what separates the ones that have direct connections with people and the ones that are just wandering around? I wonder what makes them any different than not wanting to go seek out their loved ones.
I, that's a good question, and we might not find out for a very long time until we die. I'm not pretending. A lot of people in the field who are professionals um, think they have all these answers,
And nobody does. No, even
and
even the
you really
seasoned people who've
don't.
done it for 30 years don't have the answers.
You
What
don't know.
we get bits and pieces of what we want and what we need to keep the investigations and the scientific aspect of it still going with the paranormal. But nobody, still at the end of the day, nobody really knows what's going on, right?
No,
I have a
we're not.
If
question.
you think about
Go ahead, Heather.
if someone is stuck here, eventually their loved ones are not going to be here anymore, right? So we talk about the ones that wander around and are not really attached to anyone. Well, yeah, because eventually, who are you going to attach to?
Yeah, and if the
Right, because
location
the
isn't
line
there
is
anymore.
going to, right, like the people you were attached to are no longer going to be around to be attached to, because they're going to go and go on to a different, and coming back and visiting is different than being stuck in this realm, right? So then if we talk about mediumship and getting messages, right, which could be considered paranormal, that we get messages from loved ones and things like that, which happen, then
Well, I
Yeah,
believe that
they're making a choice
there's
to come.
many different layers here in this world. Many like blankets of realms. And the spiritual realm, I don't feel that spirits are stuck somewhere. That's just my opinion. Others may disagree with me. But my thing is, and here's my question, is so your friend got bit. I am trying to figure out, and no one can give me this answer, and maybe some of you can, is how do they get through that, blanket over into our realm to physically be able to do something like that.
Wouldn't that fall in more of the lines of like spirituality? It's the spirituality aspect of things, right? I mean, they would consider that like a dark entity, a demonic force, right?
I
Yeah,
don't
they
think
would.
so.
Yeah.
I do not think whatever bit him at Penhurst was dark. Honestly, these patients, right? Some of them were mute. Some of them couldn't communicate. Some of them that was might have been their way of getting someone's attention. You know what I mean? Like you always have to kind of think of there was this Penhurst, people dumped their loved ones there, and during that time period, and it wasn't that long ago that it was,
yeah, I was going to say, when you think about those types of places and those types of hospitals and the things that happened, we're talking in the 40s and 50s. That stuff was still going on, and they were doing shock therapy and things like that. So you're talking less than 100 years ago.
Yeah,
those things were happening. I mean, those things were happening within our lifetime. Some of us, our lifetime.
Yeah, but these patients, not all of them. They dump people there with Down syndrome, ADD, this and that, like people that just their families just left them there, So I don't think that every time someone gets scratched or bit or this or that is always it's not always necessarily a dark or ominous spirit. It might be
you would probably be.
I always say, I know me and Dave and everyone always say that. We're like, but even that, it could have been a mentally ill child that used to
right. I mean, yeah, that's the other thing is you think about that even that long ago, it was, what autistic kids, there wasn't even a term for it then, right? And they were just I hate to use this term, retarded, and then they were thrown in these hospitals and homes as being mentally ill, and there was nothing wrong with them, but but no one knew how to deal with them, and so you just didn't. And then whatever happened in those hospitals happened because
the problem with Penhurst, it wasn't even necessarily abuse constantly there. The problem was the staff was so outnumbered by the patients that the patient care suffered because the staff was so, of course you've had this doctor that used to yank teeth out and this and that and whatever, but it's just these people, they put some of them in freaking cribs and stuff so they couldn't like adults, they had adult cribs. So there's a lot of emotion going on there. So I have a really hard time. There's been very few locations that I've walked into and been like, this place is heavy, this place is dark, I think it's not as common as some people make it out to be, because everyone's like, oh, it's a demon, and I'm like, all right, it's probably not a demon, like Dave said, it's probably some ass that is still cranky in his afterlife,
old man just being cranky.
That's gonna be Sid.
Be fair, that'll be me. Be the one walking, get off my grass.
Yeah, exactly. It's totally.
Get out of my house, you sons of bitches. Well, and that's why we have people like you guys, the paranormal investigators that go out there and explore the unknown, the what ifs, the unknowns. That's the beauty of it, right? We don't know what there is out there. We have so many theories and so many possibilities out there. People like you, Christina, and your team, like David from Paranormal Addictions, people like you that are going out there and challenging what is real and what is fantasy, and just dive deep into it. You tell the passion in it. You tell, as you were talking about some of your stories and some of your experiences, you can hear the passion through your voice. And I'm sure David is just the same as well. And it takes a certain kind of person to understand the paranormal side of things. You have to open with the open mind, and also at the same time as well, be skeptical about everything you do. Question everything. Debunk everything. It's very important to debunk, because everybody's always the first. You hear something. Oh, it's a ghost. Let's run out of the house screaming. Yeah. No, it's a fire bell going off.
Yeah. No, I know it's crazy. You see all those videos of like dust in front of cameras, and don't even start me with orbs. Like I'm not. I will dismiss 99.999% of
I'm
any.
right with that. I'm not big on the orbs.
And even photos, man, like that whole matrixing thing, like if you're gonna take real time photos and review them while you're standing there, yes, go for it. But when you're looking at it the next day, like we go to these locations that have rusted out walls, paint chips, this and that, and the mind and matrixing is very freaking real. Oh, my mom, yes, she loves Charger. um, but so I mean, a lot of these people see faces in the woods or in the buildings and this and that. It's like, unless you're like, oh, I see this video, this picture, I'm looking at it right now, it's not there, you know? So I'm very like in the moment. I like doing real time EVP burst sessions. I don't like listening later on, like for like I don't get hours of EVPs like or like recordings and listen to them later, because you don't know if someone walked by, if there's some of these buildings are open, there's an animal, you know. So I like to review in the moment.
I watched a show on Discovery Plus, and I like to look at myself. I consider myself like an Ozzy Osbourne skeptic. There's a show that Jack Osbourne hosts with his dad.
Osborne's wanna believe.
I want to say that I'm like Ozzy Osbourne. Everything that I see in the picture is a double exposure.
Definitely. You know, this show is funny, but it's kind of sad because I hate seeing Ozzy like that. You know, it's like
But damn, he is so fucking just on it though. I
he
mean,
is.
nothing's getting past him. You know, he'll find something to debunk it before he believes it. And that's I think that's why I liked about the show so much is that honestly, it's like, you know what? It's double exposure. I'll just double exposure everything. And so, let me ask you this: have you ever pondered a thought about Bigfoot?
So, I mean, I'm not a cryptids person. I'm really not. Um, could it be a thing? Sure. Anything's possible.
I'm almost giving up hope on it.
I think I'd be more of a like alien UFO believer than Bigfoot, just
Yeah, I find
because
UFO Bigfoot.
the universe is huge, and it's a lot bigger than our forests, you know. So
Why have we seen why is it that we've seen UFOs, aliens, but we have not actually been up close and personal to a fucking Bigfoot yet? It's always running across the forest. You get a blurry fucking picture of it. You never really get anything, no solid. We've never caught
yeah,
a legit picture of Bigfoot.
yeah,
But yet we found
Well, there's
aliens.
actual stories from back in the 70s of people coming in contact. Like they're the ones who started the stories of Bigfoot. And I will get back to you on the names because it's not coming to me right now. But there's some really cool stories out there. So
did you say the
Google.
70s?
Yeah.
Well, it is the 70s.
Yeah. But there was a bunch of
I'm joking.
there was
LSD
a
was a
band
thing
out
back
in the
then.
woods, and there was a murder. There was an actual murder that happened, and
No,
this
yeah.
guy was
watching
trying to
a documentary on Hulu about Sasquatch and up in Northern California in the backwoods up there, and
I don't think there is.
I will never find out because I am not an outdoor woodsy person.
She's right. She's the urban.
I was not a paranormal explorer.
I'm a suburban explorer.
Yeah, right. The suburban explorer.
I have my sticker. Oops, there we go. Sasquatch and the alien.
I like what David says there. Primates can adapt to their surroundings just like the skunk ape in Louisiana. It's long. He says long story. I just, I want to say it's not impossible, but it's this what this legend has been going on for a really really long time.
They would have to be masters of.
They have to be some sneaky dudes. I mean,
Yeah.
they gotta be really
highly
sneaky too.
intelligent. Like, I mean, to be able to
Smarter than us because they're keeping away
right,
from
stay
us.
away from us.
Yeah, and it's not like they're tiny. You know,
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
Maybe there is, maybe there's not.
maybe it's always a possibility.
Maybe it's just a Yeti.
Like when you talk about all these different layers, when I talk about all these different layers of other realms that are with us, like maybe, you know, Sasquatch or, you know, dragons or something, you know, knows how to go in and out.
I've heard
because
that
they've had,
theory.
yeah.
I've heard,
jumping timelines or jumping dimensions.
I've heard
Yes.
the theory of Sasquatch or Bigfoot being like an interdimensional being. I've heard that theory. There's a lot of interesting theories out there. Obviously they're only theories, but a lot of times that you do these locations, just like Conjuring House, they said they have a lot of UFO sightings out there. So a lot of people are finding correlation between haunted locations and
I was gonna say
UFO sightings.
I wonder too, though, if that is the that people who go to those places are open to it more, right? So like believing in the paranormal and other realms and things open, you know, then your energy is open to seeing more things. I mean, I could see where the correlation would come in. There's places all over that are hot spots, as they say, for UFOs and extraterrestrial interactions and sightings and things. But then you're putting energy into that place, right? So a group of people sees it, and then they go back and they're open to that energy to be able to see on that level. And I think that makes a difference as well. Because if you're going into it with being, you know, you have to be open to be able to see all the things and feel the things.
Yeah,
absolutely. If someone goes in and goes, there's no way that this is going to happen. I don't believe in this whatsoever. There's some faith in it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Even being skeptical, you still believe in some way, or you wouldn't be out there doing it.
Oh yeah,
right?
I mean, skeptical.
You know,
I mean, when I say skeptical, like I 100% believe, you know, in the paranormal and all that. I've, you know, like I said, I've experienced it. I'm just more skeptical about individual situations. So
right, no, that's what but that's what I meant, right? Is that you know, but if someone just went into it completely blocked off to experiencing anything, they're probably not going to experience anything.
No, you're absolutely right.
Oh, God. Well, I don't want to steal this question from Sid, but what do you have for a newbie, like advice for a newbie that's wanting to get into the paranormal? Like, is there something that you can suggest, do's and don'ts?
Expensive equipment isn't always better. I bought a $400 and something Ovilus and I ended up selling it. Equipment in general, have your few staples. Don't go crazy. Use yourself. You are your number one piece of equipment. You are going to miss out on so many experiences if you're just too busy staring at your equipment. So absolutely that, you know, always go with people you trust. You don't know what's going to happen. Even, you know, these locations we're going, not just paranormal wise, but these locations you're going to are old. They are dangerous. You know, they make you sign waivers 90% of the time when you go in. So, you know, always go with people you trust. And how we always, most important of it all, have a good freaking time. Enjoy yourself. Don't be too serious. This is, you know, a passion. This is not a job. You know what I mean? Like me and my team get haunted. Everyone, we go to these locations and it's like a freaking, you know, party in the sense like we just laugh, we have a good time. And half the time when you're doing that, you stir up activity more than if you're just sitting there in the dark doing
just hanging out, hiding around in corners, waiting for somebody to walk by so they can jump out on them.
So yeah, always have fun with it. And, you know, don't be too stuffy about it.
Yeah.
Christina, thank you for hanging out with us tonight.
Oh, thank you for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Busy evening. I know you've had a busy evening.
Yeah,
You just came off of
great.
one talk show and then hopped right onto this one.
Yeah.
So I really do appreciate you taking the time with us tonight and sharing space with us and sharing some of your stories and some of your wisdom out here in the paranormal field. We appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. It was great getting to talk to you again. And Luna and Heather, it was so nice to meet you, lovely
It was
ladies.
Nice
nice
to meet you too.
Wow.
We would love to have you on again. We'll have to set us up sometime in the near future again.
Okay. Oh, really quick. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I totally forgot to mention. Just real quick. World's largest ghost hunt this year. My buddy Rob is one of the execs. So basically, one day a year, September 24th, groups from all around the world get together and live stream together in one spot. It's over 24 hours. If you or anyone who's watching want to be a part of it, go to nationalghosthuntingday.com and sign your team up. I think it's about $50, which is not a lot, and no one's really making profit off of it. It's going. We have Daryl and everyone from Paranormal Warehouse and Applebox and a bunch of producers that are coming on to help us with this year. To make all the tech stuff go smoothly and all that. And we will be Get Haunted will be live at Penhurst. September 24th is going to be the headquarters of World's Largest Ghost Hunt this year. So I will be there along with Rob, Daryl, and a bunch of people. So if anyone, nationalghosthuntingday.com.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People did it from Egypt last year. So like by the pyramids and stuff. So yeah.
This has been such a blast tonight. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I enjoy talking about this stuff. I believe that there is something out there. I just like to push the envelope and question everything that goes around me. I love it. Everything about it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight, Christina.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Everybody out there who's tuned in tonight or will be tuning in later on to watch, thank you guys for tuning in and watching Everyday Magic. Until next time, guys, have a great night.
Bye.